our goal is not enough.
What is up, Soul Fams? Chris here with Soldier of Life, and I am once again at the Chiang Mai reservoir. I thought it was a beautiful spot, so I do a video here again. It is hot. It is hot in Chiang Mai right now. The topic I wanted to talk about is money, cash flow, money, and how you should use it as a tool. All right, stop making money the definitive factor in everything you do. A lot of people ask me, like, when me traveling, you know, like, oh, I can't do it because I can't afford it. And I think the issue with that is, especially in Western societies, they've taught us to make money, like basically everything circles around money, you know. But the issue with that is it's almost like if you start looking at money as a tool, then you would see, because I personally, the way I view money, it helps you get to where you want to go. But if you spend your whole life worrying about making money, you know, when did you have a time to live? When did you have a time for a self-realization? You know, I think that's a problem when a lot of people, when they live their lives, so they always think back like, you know, what I could have did or what I should have did. The term being successful always has like all this money attached to it, but that's only because that's what they taught. That's what they preached in society. And I know personally when I was young, when I first joined the military, right, they had this awesome bonus. I think it was like a $20,000 bonus. So the thing about the bonus is, back in the day, you know, you would get half when you finish your military training, and then, you know, you would get sprinkles of it throughout the rest of your enlistment. I know a couple people, like my buddy, he got a $40,000 bonus. So imagine you're 19, 20 years old. You know, you just got out of basic training and now you got $20,000 in your account, you know, and it's probably more for basketball players or, you know, a professional sports athletes and stuff like that. But you just got this large sum of money, you know. And I used to always say to myself, like, you know, I got this large sum of money, but I have no idea where it is now. I have no idea where it is today. And that's the thing, like, did that stuff really make me happy? Did it really? You know, I wasn't using it as a tool. When I got the money, first thing I said, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy the car that I've always wanted, you know? And it's a good feeling to be able to do that. The only reason I can talk about it now because I've done that before, you know? But the things that I valued at the time, the things that I thought were important to me were just totally out of whack. You know, at the end of the day, like, these things will get me happy, you know, but it's not really the feeling of happiness. It's more like the feeling of accomplishment. And basically, like, with people that say they don't have enough money to do something, you know, stop letting that stop you. You know, let's say that if you wanted to travel and you don't have enough money to fly all around the world and stuff like that, you can still travel. You can travel within your own community. You can travel a little bit outside if you have the money to do that. You can travel on the weekends, you know, go to places that you haven't gone before. It's not even the traveling that enlightens people anymore. You know, it's your mindset. And I think that's the most important thing nowadays. Like, let's say if you see a person with their picture on Instagram and they were in Paris, you know, or whatever place, it is really cool when you go there. But a lot of people, they're doing that to make others feel like, you know, they're more accomplished, which is, it's awesome, but it doesn't make you any more better of a person. You know, you have to do these things for you. You're using money as an escape. Like, you don't have enough money to do this and do that. You don't need that, but you can still do what you want to do. So if you want to travel, you know, if you want to start a business, if you wanted to get your dream car or something like that and you don't have enough money to do it, stop worrying about the money portion and then think about, you know, hey, what do I want to do in life so I can get these things, so I can actually attain these things, you know. But you stop worrying so much about the money portion. And I think once I personally stopped worried about the money portion, I became way happier. You know, it is not an excuse not to do the things that you want to do. You know, even if you wanted to travel a far place, you can still save up. Don't worry about getting there. Just keep saving up until you get there. We always feel like we're in a rush to get these things done, but it's not. You know, let the money come when it comes. Another benefit when you start thinking of money as a tool, you stop focusing on the next and you just start to appreciate. You know what I'm saying? When you start, like, when you start getting money or you start making a lot of money or whatever, the only thing is you think you'll be happier with more money, but you'll just focus on the next goal once you get there. So let's say you've been in this company and you got a raise and it pays way more salary. I mean, it's good if you have a family, if you want to help provide, but you'll just start focusing on the next goal. You know, you'll just start focusing on the bigger house, the better car. You don't take the time to appreciate the things. You know, I actually, one of my ex-girlfriends, she told me, Like it was a time when I started getting money and like money really wasn't an issue anymore. And she told me, like, we started arguing a lot and we started having a lot of issues within our relationship. And she just kept telling me like we were way happier when we were broke, you know, because then the issues that we had, there were just more issues, you know. Like there's a famous quote, I don't know if you know the guy named Biggie Smalls, but it's basically more money, more problems. It's not a bad thing to want to accumulate wealth, but you can't focus so much time and energy on money, because if you're focusing on that way, it will become the center of your life instead of your life being the center and the rest of everything circling around you. Like there was times when I had a lot of money, there was times when I didn't have a lot of money, you know. The times I had a lot of money, I was happy, but I was also really I was unhappy too. The times I didn't have money, I was happy, but then I also was really unhappy. And then I had to, the part I like about not having so much money is I actually took that time when I didn't have to actually figure out myself, you know, figure out why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. That's when I really started to travel on like the self-actualization journey, self-development, self-help and stuff like that. Because of, not even because I didn't have money, but because money wasn't really a factor, like I really didn't put so much emphasis on it, then I started realizing more about myself. And then I became happier daily. But that's my own personal opinion, I don't know. Maybe money makes you happy, I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But I personally think that you think money makes you happy. But I think a lot of people think money makes, you know, it puts you in a bracket above other people. Like imagine if you had, you know, a decent amount of money, but then somebody came and they had way more money than you. You wouldn't focus on the people you had more money than. You would focus on the person that has more money than you know, because that's prevalent to you. Also saying a good reason to think of money as a tool is because it's all relative. No, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine. He was like into Bitcoin. He was telling me about all this millionaire stuff, like, you know, I want to be like that, which is cool. I got it. But I had to tell him, like, it's all relative, man. Like, you should just appreciate where you at right now, you know, because, like, you know, this form of accumulating wealth, it wasn't present, you know, years ago, you know, so you would have had to do some different things in order to get this way, maybe, you know, I don't know. But just, you should start appreciating them things, you know. I also use this quote, like, when you talk about money, I use it, like, in professional sports. Imagine, there are people, you know, when I played basketball, you know, I knew a couple of dudes, the biggest thing they wanted to do was get a free ride scholarship to college. Like that was it, that was highlight for them. They might not have made it to the pros, but that's okay. They got a free ride to go to school, free education, free room and board, all the works. Once they get to that level, all they want to do is make it to the pros. They want to get the big bucks. Once that little slot is over, the people in the pros, what do they want to do? They want to be MVP. So I want the championship, which is good. It's good to always shoot to the top, but it's the same thing in relationship to money. You should appreciate what you have, but you know, the day that I made this much money, I was like, oh man, oh, this is awesome. I can't believe I made it. Shoot, like even like making $100 to me was just like, man, I can't believe this is actually happening. This is cool, this is doing it. Biggest thing I want to say with like YouTubers in the YouTuber community, and I've noticed that also too, like me just starting out my grind. When I got my first subscriber that wasn't like family or some shit like that, I was like, man, I can't believe this is awesome. This is freaking awesome, you know. And then I'm talking to other YouTubers that like have like 100,000 subscribers, which is cool, it's dope, you know, but they're just like, oh yeah, you know, so they kind of downplay it and they don't play it up, but it's because they I don't want to say they don't appreciate it anymore, but it's like you just have to appreciate the little things when you get them. So even when I got my first comment on my YouTube video, I was like, what? People are commenting, they're actually taking the time to comment. Like, I am blessed. This is amazing. This is amazing. You know, I was top highlight, had nothing to do with money, but this was amazing. You know, when I got my first troll, I was like, oh, that's awesome, because my first troll means that I'm actually doing something. But you just have to realize, like, the more money you get, it doesn't mean happiness. It doesn't mean success. You know, it's really the mind states that you want to try to control. It's the way that you're thinking about it. So, you know, by all means, like, we all got to you got to have money to survive. You got to have money to have a good life. But even like living in third world countries, living in countries that, you know, are stricken with poverty, those people still find a way to be happy. Usually people always want the things that they can't have. I mean, that's just nature. I seen one thing in my city where I'm from, and there was a hurricane, and then all these people went into the Nike store and stole Jordans, you know? And like, I look back at it now because I'm on the outside looking in, I'm like, how dumb is that? You have to get out of that mindset. The more money I had, the more that I wanted to accumulate, the more I felt in debt. People don't know, the guys that work out, they work out, but every time you get bigger, you feel smaller because you just notice the people that are bigger than you, you know? So it's all relative, man. You just got to think about it in a different way and just use it to your advantage to actually get the things that make you happy. Traveling makes you happy, then figure out a way to just travel somewhere where you can afford. Also, when you're talking about money and the value, I think a lot of people, they think the things that they buy, it makes them look like they have money, but actually a lot of people, they become a prisoner to it. So I know when I decided that I wanted to travel and my online career, I started to get rid of my things, but a lot of things I couldn't get rid of. And there was one case in point, I was in Germany actually, and I had to sell my car. But the thing is, I couldn't sell it in Germany, so I had to ship it to America. So I literally took this car, I shipped it to America, then I had to fly to America to sell the car, and then I had to sell it for way less than what I paid for it because I was on a time limit. You know, I wasn't gonna be there and I wasn't gonna let my car sit there all day. So really, I thought when I bought this car, you know, I thought, oh man, it's a dope vehicle. I became a prisoner to it because basically it wasn't me selling the car, it was me following the car all over the world in order to get some coin off of it, in order to make a sale from it. You have to be real aware of the things that you buy, you become slave to them almost. That's literally like when my journey started, when I started getting different mindsets, when I started having soldier mindsets. Like you can't bring all this stuff with you everywhere you go, like it's just not feasible, it makes no sense. So I was a slave to that stuff. So I was like, only the things I love I'm gonna bring with me. And that's the thing I thought at the time when I was making money, I was just buying stuff. You know, when I was in the military, I just buy stuff just because. He got that, I want this. They got this, I want that. You know, but then you become slaves to this stuff. You know, people always write me and they're like, oh, I wanna, you know, go and around the world and do this. I wanna go to that country like you. How do you live here? Oh, I can't do that. You know, the reason you can't do it is because you're slave to all the stuff that you have. You know, I'm free to move wherever I want because I don't carry a lot of baggage around like that. Now, you don't have to live like that. You have to know, you know, the valuables that you have. Not to say you become slave to them, but you don't want to be a slave to them. I remember I had a car too, like an old school car, beautiful car on 20 whatever rims, but I had this car in the storage while I got deployed, and this car sat, so I paid for that car the whole time. Then I got shipped to another state, so that car stayed in Florida the whole time. Then when I took it out, you know, it was an attempt to steal the car. So I had to ship the car to where I was at the time. Then I couldn't keep it in my apartment complex, like all this stuff. You know, all this stuff for one car, but only because I was a slave to it. But you know, not to say that you are, but you gotta realize this stuff when it starts happening. You gotta let that stuff go. You know, money is the tool. It would cost way more money than I should have paid for that. But you know, you gotta utilize money as a tool and not, you know, having things and then becoming slave to them and just start shelling out money, you know, for that stuff. And the last point I wanted to make, people that think about money all the time, they end up consumed with getting it. And that's another thing popular in my culture is people like, oh, chasing that paper or getting that money or whatever. But when you spend all day trying to get it, like when do you really have time to work on yourself? When do you really have time to find out what you actually like? You know, it's good, it's very good for one thing to accumulate wealth, establish your values, establish what's important to you, make standards for yourself. But when you would do anything, if you're a slime ball, if you're out there robbing people for money and stuff like that, I don't know. But you have to understand you can't be as consumed with getting it. You know, when I started my business, I wasn't making $1. I wasn't making a single dollar. But I told myself, I was like, I know I can't do this part-time. Like, I just won't have the focus. I want to be 100% in on what I'm doing. So I'm shooting for it 100% of the time, and I'm going for it. I didn't make money at all for like the first couple months. But once you start getting it going, you know, it's something that I love. Even if I don't make that much money from it at all, it's okay because I love doing what I'm doing. So that is what I wanted to shoot with you guys. Basically, to wrap it up, try to think of money as a tool to get to your pure happiness, to actually get the things that you want to attain, the things that you love, you know, to care about your family. Don't just spend money on a bunch of crap that you don't need. You know, that's not how you use tools. And another point, when you think of money as a tool, it's almost like being a mechanic. As a mechanic, you can fix a car with your bare hands. You know, it might take you a little longer, but you can do it. It's just good to have the tools in the toolbox. But like I said, you can also do it without the tools. Yes, but that is all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you listening to the video. If you like it, make sure you like it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, do you think of money as a tool? Don't forget, in order to change the world, you gotta let them know this is what success looks like. Lead by example. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay motivated. This is Chris with Soldier of Life, and see you guys in the next video. See see you in the next video. How cool do I look?